Okay, so today we are going to start seated with a few options of seated. You might want to sit kneeling and you can wedge pillows underneath you, underneath your hips, underneath your hips and in between your legs. You can come into seated in your cross-legged position, and again you can wedge pillows underneath here, underneath your hips. And again, the elevation of the hips is just to alleviate any tension through your hips. Just find a comfortable seat position. You can cross legs. So what I like to do with crossing legs is I place one in front of the other. So then if it's right underneath, usually one knee's higher than this, so I just place one in front of you, then you can do that too. And however you like, once comfortable, rest your hands down, rest your palms up if you like. You can rest one hand on top of the other, maybe the thumbs joined together, whatever feels most comfortable for you. And then just taking the time to settle in here. Feel free to wriggle a bit more if you're not comfortable in that seated position. You're basically just settling in here in your seat, noticing that weight of your seat, so your hips into the pillow or block or wherever you're sat on. Onto your bed. So if you are sat on the bed or you're practicing on the bed, you can scoot to the end of the bed so that you're sat just like you would on a chair. And then I want you to think about that concept that you have with the ground or your seat, your support. Noticing the weight of your base. Feel free to close your eyes if they're not already, and if it feels comfortable to. And then your next inhale, just imagining growing a little taller as you sit up. Taller, but not with any force. You don't have to sit upright. Just think about finding space in between each vertebrae, finding space in between the shoulders, for the neck and the head. Finding space in between the eyebrows, space. Just take the time to arrive and tune in to your body. And as we do that, I would like you just to bring your awareness to that base, to your seat. Just noticing the weight of your base, noticing that concept that you have with wherever you're seated. And as the eyes are closed, maybe slightly closed, noticing that you actually can't distinguish between what is you and what is that seat. Kind of merge into each other. You can't distinguish that exact line of where your leg is to the ground. It kind of just merges in or merges into your chair or wherever you're sat on. And just allowing that heavy feeling within your base settling in. And at the same time as you feel that sense of weight and that grounding with your base, the next inhale, you're going to feel that kind of light or that drawing up. Inhale, expansion, if you can, to the belly, into the chest. And as that rise, as that breath rises up, you might again sit a little taller. Those two opposing, sensations residing in one body. Feeling space and growth in your torso, lifting up as you inhale. And now as you breathe out, a sense of release, maybe a surrender in that base that you're seated in. Nice, and no rush, just a couple more breaths here as you take that time to arrive. And there is no wrong or right way to do this. Doesn't matter if you get distracted, that's natural. As we emphasize that yoga, meditation is a practice, and practice takes time, commitment, and also emphasizes that every time you come to practice will be different. It's the experience of the practice, not the end goal. Right. And when you're ready to, we'll just take one more breath here. Maybe take that as a bigger breath. And start to wriggle fingers and toes. Maybe start to stretch those legs out. If you've been starting to feel a bit tight in your body. Nice. And if you are sat kneeling, you're just going to shift your weight to sit seated. If you've got anything underneath you, you want to release that. And then from here, I'm going to give you two options. First option is shoelace pose. So we're going to just take hold of right foot and right knee. And you can gently just guide a bit of movement into the hip joint, especially if you feel a bit stiff there today. And so first option, shoelace pose. We bring that leg over and across, knee stacks on top of the knee, or as close as it can get. Doesn't matter if it's flowing about here, you can stay there. Maybe if it is feeling too much to come here, then place that foot on the inside of the thigh. Second option, you might sit over to the left and you might bring your left leg in so they cross over more. And then you might take that position instead. So again, you're thinking about knees stacking on top of each other as much as they can. Feet come out. And if that feels quite intense for that hip, release back into half shoelace. Or maybe if you find that you're stuck to one side and it doesn't feel very good again, the feet come out to release. Whichever option you're in, you're going to shrug the shoulders, relax the shoulders. You can stay upright there. Feel free to close your eyes. And again, just thinking in with that weight of the face. And maybe you think about the lift on the inhale. Maybe if it feels okay there, you might want to play around with that and you might allow yourself to fold forward. You keep the neck in neutral, or you might hug pillows, you might put pillows underneath there and just allow yourself to fold onto that support and the head to hang heavy. With or without pillows, you can take that fold and really let go of the head, just depending on how that feels for your upper part of the back and your neck. And in this posture, just really connecting to being physically in your body. As you breathe in, maybe you take note of sensations. If you're in that half shoelace, you're going to feel that through your foot, maybe through the back of your leg, through that left hip, through your back and shoulders, neck and head. If you're in a full shoelace, you might feel that very intensely in that right side of the hip. Again, if you're folded forward, you might feel that through your back. Really depends in which position you're in and also where you hold tension the most. Yoga is a personal practice, so the pose will feel individual to you and individual to you each time that you come to practice as well. It's different every time you visit. Nice. So each time you breathe in, you're checking in. Each time you breathe out, maybe you soften areas. Maybe you go deeper into that pose. So if you're sat upright, you might feel more weight in that base. You might feel more lift on that inhale. Nice. No rush. We're just going to take about 3 more breaths here. Tune into your own body. take your time to gently unravel. So you've folded or you've popped a few pillows there. Maybe you would like to release them to come up to seated. If you're sat to have the legs underneath, you're just going to sway over to the side to release the leg. And then if you're in a half shoelace, you might want to just gently bring a bit of movement to that hip, or maybe just take the legs out and give them a good shake out. Whatever feels good for you. Nice. As we just sit in neutral for a moment, maybe notice any releases. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So we'll take our left foot, left knee, gently just bring a bit of movement to that hip joint. And again, I'll just demonstrate the variations on this side. So remember, you're taking that knee all the way over. So if you kind of flatten that leg over and across, knee starts on top of knee as close as you get. Maybe it's there. Any further past that, I might feel uncomfortable. So you might just bring the foot to the inside of the thigh. Your other leg is nice and relaxed. Other option, you might come into the full shoelace and you might sit to the side to bend that other leg in. And again, wriggle yourself so knee starts on top of knee, or again, as close as it can get. Listen to what feels best for your body. There is no wrong or right. The aim is to be in the posture and then also really connect it. But if you're connecting and you're like, this is painful, I can't breathe, then you might just want to take a different variation. So again, you're either upright, and as you inhale, you think about that length that can go up from that base, lifting through to the crown of the head. And then as you exhale, you're feeling that weight of your base, so the legs here. If you're softening or letting go, surrendering that hip tension. You might lean a bit further forward. You might hug a pillow and allow that to be your rest. You might fold over and just allow the head to hang heavy. Find a space that works for you and where you can connect to your body in a nice, nourishing posture. I don't want you to be in a position where you feel like you're fighting your body. Each time that you breathe out, feeling a sense of surrender. Whether that's the base of your body, feeling that weight, feeling maybe release of hips, or maybe that's that you're folding a little further forward, maybe your head is letting go a little more. Find what surrender means to you, and each time you breathe out, you're softening into that. Be in your body. No rush as we take about 3 more breaths here. Nice, and take your time whenever you're ready to unravel. So you might start to lift the head, you might start to sit to the side, you might start to rock that hip. Nice, and when you're ready to, we're going to start to make our way down onto the ground. So if it feels good, you've got the energy within your body, you might want to rock back and forth. If it doesn't, just settle your way down. Lying on a pillow, maybe with or without a pillow. Maybe you're grabbing a blanket and you're popping that on top of you to feel more cozy. However you like, just start to settle in. You might be in that more traditional Shavasana pose, legs out, shoulder width or wider, hands on belly, hands out to the side. Or if your back feels uncomfortable, you might take constructive rest. Feet out wide, knees bent, knees together. Again, whichever option with your arms feel good for you. Nice, and as you take a moment to settle in, you might shuffle, wriggle legs, wriggle hips, rock the head side to side, shuffle shoulders. take a moment to settle in, to be in your body, noticing weight, space. As we go through our body scan, we'll notice pockets of tension that we can release from. And as you just take a moment to settle here again, just visualizing your body lay on the ground. Maybe your eyes are closed. And as we visualize, we start to actually feel the connection of our body with ground or the bed, wherever you're practicing. And as you allow that weight to be supported by wherever it is you're lying down on, there is no distinguish, or we can't distinguish between what is bed, what is mat, what is me. Your weight spreading across. And as you allow your body to melt here, we let go of any other pockets of tension that we might be holding on to guide our body into full relaxation. As we let go of toes and feet, as we let go of calves, shins, knees, back of thighs, front of thighs, hips. Allowing the back to unravel, finding space in between each vertebrae. Shoulder blades melt across the floor, the bed. And your next inhale, you'll feel that expansion through belly and chest. And then your next exhale, softening through, relaxing the torso and the arms. Arms heavy, letting go of biceps and triceps. Elbows and forearms. Wrists, hands and fingertips. Head rests as neck and throat relaxes. Face rests as we allow our face to dissolve any tension here. Jaw, mouth, cheeks, all the tiny muscles surrounding the eyes, eyeballs, eyelids, eyebrows, space in between the eyebrows, and the forehead unraveling. Being in your relaxed body. As your body relaxes, give yourself permission, allow your mind to follow. It may wander between thoughts and thoughts, not attaching to anything. Or it may think of nothing. If it helps, it may think of the breath or watch the breath and observe the nature of the inhale, a wave flowing up. The nature of the exhale, a wave flowing down, a sense of surrender. As you breathe, as we breathe, we surrender to full relaxation. rush at all. Just starting to bring your awareness back. Awareness back into being in your body, being in this room or your room. Noticing the sensations that you feel. Contact with the ground, air brushing against the skin. Contact with the clothes. How you might feel right now before or in contrast to when you first arrived. And whenever you're ready to start to take a deep breath in and out, guiding yourself back into your evening. Whenever you feel ready to, you might start to wriggle fingers and toes. You might start to gently rock head side to side and maybe move the legs, move arms. Start to take a full body stretch if you like. Or maybe you hug the knees in towards the chest as you curl into a ball. Maybe you gently rock side to side to roll over to the left side. Using your left arm as a pillow if you're not already on a pillow. As you start to bring yourself back, you might bring yourself up to seated, you might stay there. If you do come up to seated, we'll just bring our hands to the center of the chest. As we arrive back into our evening, as we close our practice, next inhale, we'll circle those arms up, palms together. Exhale, hands down through the center. Namaste. Welcome back. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for joining.